welcome to the Power 365 show. Full show notes for this episode can be found at nz365guide.com/252. But before we chat with today's guest, here's a quick message from our sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by none other than myself. If you've been listening to my podcast for a while, you'll know how passionate I am about helping people grow their Microsoft Business Applications career. If you're interested in getting career coaching from me, you can express your interest today at nz365guide.com/coaching. Now, let's get on with the show. Today's guest is from Redmond, Washington. She's a senior program manager for Dynamics 365 at Microsoft. She received an Outstanding Achiever Award from Microsoft in the past. She is a key person involved in the Duel Write feature for Microsoft Business Applications. You can find her on LinkedIn. Welcome to the show, Rama Krishnamoorthy.
Thanks a lot for having me here, Mark, and I'm happy to chat.
Excellent. Now, did I pronounce your name right? How do you pronounce your full name?
My full name is Rama Krishnamoorthy, and you pronounced it correctly.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, before we get started, I always like to find out where people come from and what they do when they're not working. We're going to talk shortly about your role within Microsoft and particularly around Duel Write. But tell me a bit about your family, where you live, where do you come from, and what do you do for fun outside of working for Microsoft?
My family, it's a very small family, Mark, me, my husband, and we have 2 kids.
Nice.
I'm coming from, basically I'm a South Indian, and I like any South Indian, I like idlis and dosas. Mm-hmm. I prepare the batter once in a week and store it in my refrigerator and prepare it at least once in a week.
Nice.
Currently, I live in Washington. For fun, I do a lot of hiking with family, but due to this pandemic, we are kind of locked down at home, so we spend a lot of time playing board games and cards.
Yeah. So what is the state of play now in Washington, is, from the pandemic perspective?
We are in stage 2, so we have got into the second stage of lockdown. Mm-hmm. So, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, right? So
yes.
We are staying safe at home and doing online shopping and then connecting with family over Skype or Teams.
Nice. And do you get, let's say before the pandemic, do you get back to South India very much?
At least once in 2 years.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And how long ago did you move to the US?
It's been 6 years, Mark.
Wow. So were you working for Microsoft in India before you moved to the US?
No, I was working for an ISV.
Is that right? As in, was it a business Apps ISV?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I find this very interesting because it's, the whole ISV is a space is a very, is of interest to me. I've been involved in this space for some time. What type of product were you involved with before joining Microsoft?
I was with the same Dynamics 365 world. So most of my career revolves around Dynamics 365, and I have been closely associated with finance and operations applications. I don't want to take out the call up a specific product, but I have worked on the product development space, as well as I have been in the consulting space, and I was in the support space as well. So that is actually giving me a 360-degree view while solving problems for Microsoft.
Yeah.
And also with my customer interactions.
Yeah, so good. So what was your journey into Microsoft? How did your career take that turn?
I started my journey with Microsoft 6 years ago. So as soon as I came from India, I got an opportunity to join Microsoft. I joined the retail stores engineering team.
Okay. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I got the opportunity to drive the Sydney store opening from the engineering standpoint. Mm-hmm. You might have heard about the Sydney store. It's a flagship store.
I've been in it. I was there for the opening, so
wow.
I absolutely know that store. I was also at the London opening for that store as well. Last year it would have been, yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. So personally, I got to see the great excitement and energy that Microsoft fans in Asia has got towards our hardware and software products. So it was so excitement, to drive it, from end to end perspective. Since the retail stores were backed by full Dynamics 365 suite of applications, also during that time, I got the opportunity to learn about the customer engagement applications like sales, marketing, customer service, and actually, this knowledge of both CE and FNO applications that came handy in future when I was asked to drive the product strategy and application roadmap for Duel Write in 2018. Yeah.
So tell me a bit about then what your current role is.
My current role, I'm a program manager in the Dynamics product group, and I'm driving the Duel Write program. Duel Write, I'm not sure how many of you people are heard about. So it's a pretty famous across the D365 apps customers, and it provides a native integration between the FNO apps and CE applications.
So tell me a bit about how that's architected. Is the Dataverse the kind of key ingredient that is involved in moving or that dual write between a finance application and then let's say, whether it be sales, marketing, or customer service based application?
Yeah, so think of Dual Write as a data pipeline between the set of applications. We call it as customer engagement applications. That includes the Dynamics 365 for sales, marketing, customer service, field service, and project operations. And these are built on Dataverse. And then you have, on the other hand, you have the finance and operations applications. That includes the Dynamics 365 for finance, supply chain, and commerce. Right. So these two are integrated through Dual Write. So this provides a nice, native integration so that especially for the FNO customers, the FNO data is natively available on CDS so that it can be used both in the front office applications like CE applications as well as in the Power Platform.
Mm-hmm. So when we look at from the finance side of it, which key applications does it include? For example, Business Central, or is that not part of the remit here?
Business Central is not part right now, but it will be expanded in future.
Okay. And then, a couple of years ago, we had a thing called virtual entities, which was a way of surfacing data from other systems. And finance systems was one of those inside of other Dynamics 365 products. Is this a replacement for that, or is it a totally different way of looking at that similar type problem?
Think of Dual Write and virtual entities are two different approaches that complement each other. So one is not a replacement of another, but they work together and coexist together and complement each other.
Yeah. And so is the whole idea of kind of a rounder master data management type view of looking at your data. So let's say I create a new account in finance. I would expect that pretty much real time, that new account would be created in, if I had Dynamics 365 for sales, that would automatically appear there. Is that the case?
Yeah. Pretty much that's the case on a very high level, Mark. But think of it as as a business. Like if your business ecosystem is made up of D365 suite of applications. Okay, on one hand, you are using your customer engagement applications for performing the front office activities, and on the other hand, you are using the finance and operations applications. It could be finance, supply chain, or commerce, or all the three together, and you're using them for performing your back office activities. Then in a way, the Dual Write natively integrates these two applications so that the business data can be seamlessly orchestrated across the applications in real time. When I say Dual Write or think of Dual Write, don't think Dual Write as a data management tool. It's above and beyond. It's a solution in itself. It comes with two aspects. One is the platform aspect. Another one is the application aspect. The platform aspect actually provides the necessary infrastructure for the real-time conversation that needs to happen between the applications. And the application aspect actually allows both the applications to orchestrate meaningfully. When we say orchestrate, think of it as any gesture or an action happening on the CE application, it automatically reflects on the F&O applications instantaneously and allows the F&O users to continue to work with the record from where it is left. That's very important. Okay, so say for example, like as a business, like you may want to manage your prospects in the sales application, and upon qualifying the prospect as a customer, probably that is the point from where you want that customer to have a meaningful business with your workers, right? Both front office as well as back office workers. Yes. Now, when that gesture of qualifying the prospect to a customer happens, or a customer is created, if Dual Write is enabled by default, then the customer record is synchronized with from CE to F&O in a way that F&O understands that customer record and allows the F&O users to take it further from the financial and supply chain activities point of view. Okay, so think of it as a solution.
Yes. So in that scenario, if it created the customer in the finance solution, and let's say the finance solution issued a customer number, would it then write that back to the CE to go, hey, now we've got an account number for this customer?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, excellent.
So there are some integration keys that needs to be set. Dual Write does allow to set what your the keys are using which you want to identify a given record for a given entity. So once you set that identification, that is the identification used across the applications.
So outside of the sample we just gave, what are the more complex scenarios you're seeing Dual Write used for?
So pretty much like, if you say complex scenarios, any business scenario, I don't want to classify it as a simple or a complex, but the very famous scenario people use is the quote to cash process, where, hey, I created a customer or a prospect, I qualified the prospect to a customer, now I want to use that customer in my quotation creation process. Now some business use the CE application as the quote creation engine, but they expand the quotation to an order and do their supply chain activities in the supply chain application. Or some customers they complete the quotation creation process along with the order creation in the CE application, and then they want to continue with that order, invoice it in F&O, and then recognize the revenue in F&O. So this could be the very common scenario, I would say, when it comes to Dual Write.
Yeah. So in the past, we've had a range of tools that kind of did a similar thing. There's, been SSIS, there's the D365 connector, the CDS connector, or now the Dataverse connector. How does Dual Write differ from these type of tools or ways of interacting and transferring, enriching data between two systems?
As I said before, Mark, think of Dual Write as a solution, not a tool to solve a specific problem. Okay. Because Dual Write is in a solution itself comes up with a set of solutions that addresses a given set of problems. And now, of course, we are addressing the basic problems that are pretty much common across all applications and industries. Of course, there is a lot of potential to grow both broader as well as vertical wise.
Yes. So are you seeing already that ISVs are adopting this, and how are they using it as part of their solutions?
Yes, I do work with a couple of ISVs, and also there are many ISVs as part of the Yama group, Dual Write Yama group. So they are expanding, taking the basic infrastructure we are providing, and what we are doing is, as part of this Dual Write story, we are opening up some of the platform as well as some of the restrictions that we have in the application space, so that a meaningful integration is possible. So since the gates are opened from the platform and the application perspective, now ISVs are empowered to utilize that gates to build their verticals. So they are utilizing it, wherever is required based on the business scenario and their requirements.
So you're saying it's a solution. It's something I've not really understood. And I've just quickly looked up AppSource. So I can see the Duel Write application orchestration solution there. Is this what if someone was wanting to implement it, they would need to download this? But I see there's a range of requirements that need to be met. What are those key requirements that people need to meet before installing the Duel Write application?
The basic requirement that we are looking for is, hey, you need to have at least a sales application installed. And of course, Dual Write makes more sense when you have both F&O suite as well as CE suite, right? So we are encouraging F&O customers to have at least a sales application to be available, and then install the orchestration solution on top of it. Now, in case customers don't want to go to AppSource and then they don't want to install it manually, of course, the Dual Write setup story is available as part of LCS. So, as a part of your F&O provisioning process, there is a workflow available for you to enable Dual Write with a few button clicks.
Right. And when you talked about it also not just being an application, but a platform, which I take it the platform in this case is CDS or Dataverse. Is it just using that sales Dataverse tenant to actually write to, or environment, sorry, is a more correct term?
It is using that, of course, if, based on the license that you have, if your license allows you to have a CDS or the Dataverse, then the one is provisioned through LCS automatically, and then Dual Write is enabled against it. Otherwise, you can bring your own Dataverse, and then we enable Dual Write on top of it.
Okay, so only at the point, like if let's say I was an F&O type customer, and I was looking at lighting up, a sales, a marketing, a customer service, or a field service scenario. Only at the point that I deploy the solution, if I didn't already have the license on that other side, would it automatically deploy me an environment, a Dataverse environment? Is that correct?
Correct. Again, you need to have a proper F&O license in order to enable Dual Write.
Yeah. Okay. So how much configuration, deployment, integration is required for people to set it up? And is it a kind of one-off setup and then you can just forget about it? It will do its job until maybe you want to map some other fields in the future or columns?
It depends, Mark, based on the business requirements. So every business is unique in itself. So pretty much like, if a business is looking for basic functions like, hey, I want to multi-master customer data, or I want to make sure F&O is the product master for me, and I want to utilize the products to be the same product base for my CE application and its processes, or hey, I want to use vendors, or, so pretty much if they want a basic scenario to be enabled, then those solutions are available out of the box, and you don't need to do much changes. Now, of course, Dual Write is a low-code, no-code platform, so it does allow you to expand the existing functionalities or the Dual Write map with one or more attributes that you want to add to it. But of course, if you want to do a lot of changes, like if the customizations are spread across the applications, like both F&O and CE, and as well as you need the intermediary, you need to make those changes across all the things, right? So that's how you need to look into. So if things are available out of the box, you want to use it, it's readily available for you. Now, if you are going to use it for the nth level, of course, you need to take care of those customizations.
Yeah. Do you see that, this is pretty much a finished product, or do you see enhancements coming in the future?
We are not done with Dual Write yet. So what we released in March is the first set of features, and along with the platform features. And then since then, we have been expanding both the platform as well as the application aspects on an incremental basis. There are some more features and aspects that we need to enable, so we will be enabling in future. So the things are growing.
In future wave releases, and those kind of things will come to market.
Correct.
What industries are you currently seeing use this?
Many industries are using. There is no specific industries. So people who are in the retail space, they are using it. People who are in the production space or servicing space, they are using. Now, even people who are in the typical since this is a Thanksgiving season, right? So people, even if they are using the D365 suite of applications for their business ecosystem in one or the other way. Now, of course, the some of the functionalities that we are enabling through Duel Write, like, hey, you get the on-demand the prices, best prices from FNO on a single button click, or you can get the on-hand inventory information from FNO through a single button click from a front office application. So those features are pretty much coming handy, and it is used across all the industries, irrespective of, because you will be selling something, or you'll in terms of products or services, right? So those features are very much handy, and it is widely used.
Excellent. So just in wrapping up, are there any specific resources that people should go read up, find out how to, etc., if they think Duel Write might be a good fit for their organization?
Definitely, Mark. So if they go to docs.microsoft.com and search for Duel Write, you'll get to see a bunch of articles explaining Duel Write setup. Also, its functional coverage. We have troubleshooting guides. We have FAQs available. So around 50 pages worth of documentation is already available. And as I said, we are not done with the product yet. We are still adding more functionalities to the stack. So as and when we release more features, we'll be increasing the document base. Along with that, we have 2 Yammer groups available. People can get access to that Yammer group through FNO Insider program.
Excellent. So through the FNO Insider program is how they access the Yammer groups.
Yeah, that's correct.
Fantastic. Is there anywhere they sign up for the Insider program?
Yeah. So if you go to the FNO Insider program link, if you go to experience.dynamics.microsoft.com, that's the way you can get into it.
Excellent. We'll get those into the show notes so people can find that out. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to have on the show. I felt I've learned a lot more around Duel Write. I hope you go and enjoy your Thanksgiving. Thank you,
Yep.
Rama.
Thank you so much, Mark. Happy
Cheers.
Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Business Applications MVP Mark Smith, otherwise known as the NZ365 guy. If there's a Microsoft guest you'd like to see us have on the show, please message me via LinkedIn. Please like and subscribe in your favorite podcast player. If you'd like to leave a review, please go to nz365guy.com/review. And with that, I'll sign off. Have a great and safe week ahead. Bye for now.